Mr. Arun, to share your journey, what exactly all about that pain, whatever you had on that time when you came to know about this, but what phenomenally you have done to get cross over about that condition, and at present you have done something remarkable. So yes, we all would like to know your journey as well.
Firstly, I would like to thank the panel and also the opportunity given by NCERT and the team. Yeah, so the journey is actually was very tough for me. It was in 1998, 99. I was diagnosed in my 13 years when I was called to a mental hospital to get a diagnostic done because clinical psychologists are only there. And I asked my mother saying that, okay, so far you have sent me to so many tuitions and different schools I changed and all. Finally, you are sending me to a mental hospital, and what is next? Are you going to put me there? So that was a 13-year-old's anxiety and anguish at that time. And topping of that, what actually happened is the doctors were there, and they told that you didn't teach your son properly. That's why he is not reading, writing properly. That was the standpoint there, because physically I didn't have any incapabilities, only the intellectual ability was also good, only the writing, reading part was only the difficulty, which that time it was still not very accepted by everyone. And after a very long turmoil, I got diagnosed as dyslexic. And later on, what actually happened is I changed 7 different schools in my school life. At one point wherein it was a very big question mark whether I will complete my 10th. So, but eventually I did complete my 10th using a scribe. That time it was a very big breakthrough through NIOS. They had allowed us using scribe and so on. And in 10th and 12th, both I did in that board only. But in 12th, I managed to write myself. I did crack the exam for 53%, but I did write myself. That was my first academic success where I myself wrote. So, but in this term, in this time period, I did go to a special school, and that was a more, not like a school, but like a small house, which my father was very reluctant to join me there. Why? Because all the 7 schools were very huge schools I studied, and what are they going to teach him and so on. Those kind of reservations parents had. That was a very difficult part in the initial times. Later on, now I have 4 degrees. I presented a paper in Indiana University, USA on SLD and breaking through those kind of stigma. And I was a lecturer in Loyola College, which is a well-renowned college in Chennai. And now I have a startup which is working towards identifying children in a very young age and giving them the right intervention as an early intervention process. We work with NIPMED on our screening tool, and now I head about 30 people in my team, and both tech and also special educators are in my team. And I feel now I've come a long way, and I could only say that only one person all through my life was a big support, is my mother. Because come what may, she was always believing and trusting that I will do I'll do well in life. Even though all the odds were very bad, and I was never actually passing through any exam initially, but still she was the only person giving me the full confidence. And the next person was my teacher, who identified me in a 6th standard, that was 13 years. And all my special education teachers who have made me to come to this stage. So I would say that identification is the first main thing and the parental acceptance. These 2 things are very much a need. And there are, one sad part is all this help is only in metropolitan areas. It is not in the 3rd tier and 4th tier cities or villages. And my concern, or my question would be, is like for my friend here, he told that he went to UK to study when he was in the 90s. But me, I did have access inside cities. But now still the 3rd tier, 4th tier cities or towns or villages are still not equipped with these kind of identification process. I really wonder what would be their life, and that's my life.
Actually, that was phenomenal, but yes, there is a will, there is a hope. Once again, there has always been a question for in front of us. We actually didn't came to know that what particular age this condition will arrive. Actually, whosoever watching this program through NCERT official and also on PME with their channel, they must be having same concern. Mr. Kabir, I would like to ask this thing to you. At what age did you become aware about dyslexia? And what particular age we actually came to know about this particular condition, and what was your reaction to your condition when you came to know about this?
Yeah, I can hear you. So school life, as Kabir was telling, apart from education, everything else I was good. So till July, I would be very good. Why? Because July will have the yearly sports day and so on. Everyone will want me to be in their team because I was an athlete. I was a sprint runner. So whichever team I was in, the relay we will win. So that's a few things which I add on to. But after August, I'll disappear because after August is the midterm exam marks, and every school which I go new, that school will get to see my real colors after August only, because after August teachers will understand I do not actually write anything. I do write 7-8 pages in exams, but unfortunately the teachers are not able to read it. That was my problem. So here the 7-8 pages for a product spelling PRODUCT product, I would have written PUDCTU. And that was my problem, and that made a very big impact in me, because after August I will not actually talk to teachers, because in classroom teachers will ask me to get up and read and so on. That time I'll find reasons to go out and change seats and sit. Why? Because every time I attempt to read it, I will not be able to read. And at that point, I was only diagnosed after 13. So at that stage, I really did not know what is happening to me. And every time I do take my best efforts, and but still the marks won't come. And parents were very worried what is happening and so on. And after 6th is where one teacher pulled out and told, you don't put your son to many tuitions. It is something called remedial intervention. That is what your son needs. And it might not, I wish I was disappearing in this world and not able to kind of do anything related to that.
But actually, heads off to you all, the way you interpret yourself, and that was the actually weakness. But you didn't thought like weakness. Actually, you moved forward couple of steps ahead, and you told to the world that yes, actually, I am something. Heads off to you all. Let's move forward now. And okay, when we talk about the reaction of society, as we all are the part of society, so when actually society came to know about this, they put various nomenclatures on to the people. So what was your perception on that time? How did you handle that thing? Because sometimes that is you can't bear that situation, but you have to handle that. If you will handle this on the particular time, that means you are going in the right path. So we all would like to know your perception while suffering this conditions.
Yeah, the first thing is the first stigma from the family itself is a huge thing. So when my mother came and told my father that, saying that, see, our son has some difficulty called dyslexia, the first thing he told is, please don't tell anyone, don't tell our relatives, don't tell anyone outside. So this was my father's reaction, because he was bothered about what will others think about my son. And even though he was concerned about me, that's why he wants to kind of cover it up. And that is one. And another thing is when we go out, what actually happens is in between parents. So I don't talk to that boy. He might not read properly. He might not write properly. Talk to, it's a normal sense. No, you always make friends with the first rank holder, not the last rank holder. So that was the scenario. And I had friends. In my journey, I did 7 different schools to complete my schooling. So that time I might create a bonding, come close to a friends group and so on. Later on, that year end, the school will call the parents and say that, I think so your son is good, but something wrong with his reading, writing, so we are taking him out of the school. We will give him pass TC. So the school will always want to push a student away. Why? Because this will affect their regular pass percentage in the 10th and 12th. So being proactive, That will be the real scenario for for me particularly. So if only parents are more open and parental denial is not there, I feel this stage or this stage of life when the child is having a difficulty, only one part of my family was very supportive is my mother. Apart from everyone else wants to cover it up. So let us not cover this and let parents be more open to it. And as Kabir was telling, we are all different learners. So if we can be different learners, I feel it would be, we can be celebrated because of that, and rather than pushed aside.
Absolutely. Let's talk about early identification. Yes, we already been conducted a couple of sessions on this, but quickly you need to give a glimpse to our audience. So that early integration is possible. Children can have learning journey without face the stage of dejection. So how do we recognize the early sign of dyslexia? Because this question is $1 million. Plenty of people watching this program around the world. So if they are not aware about this, so actually they will be coming to know. So let this world know about it. Mr. Arun, I will start with you.
Yeah, so early identification is very, very important, I could say. And here today, there's all this Niemann's battery or Pearson's test, or all these things are defining the child should be 8 years old. But we can definitely do an at-risk screening in a very young age. That is from the first standard to 1 to 12 years itself, we will be able to do an at-risk screening, wherein we can identify whether these children are having this reading writing difficulty, and that would be more proactive rather than waiting till 8 years, because 8 years is about till third standard the child should wait to recognize what it is. But that time what actually happens to the child is the child will create an aversion towards learning itself, because every day, like when I go to school, when I attempt to read, I won't read. When I attempt to write, I won't write. When I attempt to copy from the board, I won't copy as fast as my friends. So again, the failure is again, it happens. So till 3 years, it is like, till 8 years, it is going to happen, meaning the child will have a dejection. The child will have a kind of a perception that this is not going to come for me. So
right.
If only we can break that and have an early intervention and have an early, not just a screening, not an assessment particularly. When it is scientific only, it can be assessment, but just a screening so that early intervention can be possible, wherein the teacher can be appraised, a child can go to a special educator rather than a tuition. Because I remember in my childhood, after school another school began, like 3 o'clock school will stop, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 3 more tuitions will be there. Because my mother felt if we go to tuition, he will pass. But eventually that is not the case. So
right.
Early intervention is more of remedial intervention rather than not tuition or core subjects. I just want to add on here, it's just like a child is going to give a polio drop. So no one will have a second thought on that. No, like that screening should happen so normally, wherein, okay, if this is a problem, you need to do this. Like if every child has been administered a polio drop without any denial, without any second thought, no? That way screening also, if it is possible, using a platform like ours or something else also, like DALI or whatever, makes it very accessible and make everyone do that, then the parental denial will reduce. Because now it is a big thing. Oh, my child will have a problem. That's why the parental denial. It's not because they don't worry about the child or they don't want the child to prosper well, but it's more of the stigma. What is around, the noise around the child's life and the family is only forcing the parent to deny.
Technology has played in dealing with the challenges due to dyslexia. For this question, I would like to go with Arun sir. If we can explain this, the role of technology, how we can make this better and better for the next generation.
Exactly. So technology would definitely play a very important role in this. Why? Because there is about 7 to 8 lakhs of special educators or RCA trained people or special educators in India. And dyslexic community, most of the research is saying about 35 million children, which is 1:100 or 200, 170 children is what is the ratio of the teacher versus children. So if technology is allowing through internet, we kind of go to the second and third tier cities. That is the only way we can go and reach to the masses. If not, people who are all capable or efficient are all in the metropolitan cities or first tier cities. But the third tier and fourth tier cities, where there is no awareness, first place, and when there is no access, second place, and affordability is also a problem. Using technology, definitely we can go ahead giving them the right intervention and a standardized intervention too, because we can make through games, through app form of screening and so on, which we are in a small way through DLearners I am trying to do, but a platform like NCERT or CIET is defining to do it. I feel it will go huge, and we will be a nation saying that all the 35 million children are being screened, whoever is having dyslexia and who is also given the right intervention to actually do well in life. And if it is all happening in the primary school itself, I feel India's future of education would be wonderfully blended, because these children like us, only reading writing is an issue, because EY and Ernst & Young is a company, and Virgin Air is another company who are recruiting dyslexic people inside companies, because they have a definition called as dyslexic thinkers. So dyslexic thinkers think in a very bigger granular manner. It's only reading writing an issue. If only through using technology we break this ice on giving them the right intervention in a very early age, and then making their ability more sound, like Kabir was telling, let us focus on their abilities, like for instance their calculation abilities for some children, their visual abilities for some children on that front. And that way technology is the future, I could say, and that would only actually elevate the opportunity of every child to be reached, and where no child can be left behind.
Right, absolutely. I've got a live question, although we already been talk about the early science and identification, but yes, still I've got a question, so I need to put in front of you. Neelam Verma is asking, after identification, what will be the steps for the parents and school to support the child? Again, we are facing the same thing. So who is going to answer this? Kabir sir?
I could answer this if possible.
Yes, please go on.
So, so the intervention is possible, like for instance, if only the screening is done virtually, and the intervention also is virtually done through gamified learning and so on, which is DLearners is one platform, but otherwise there are also other platforms like through DALI, now they are developing an intervention tool too. So all this is possible, but I would say it is not just identification. It is a long way, and schools should recognize this, and schools should be put in place not only a special educator, like in CBSE school, one special educator is given to the whole school. Rather than that, every child should have a remedial tutor through an online or through in a real time, wherever they are able to access. That is done for a few years, like 2-3 years. That way, we will definitely be able to see the progress in the child. Only 2-3 months, nothing will happen. It is not a craft course which they learn. It's a longer time is what they should pursue, because here when they come to our center, how many months the child should do? We will clearly tell it's 2-3 years is what is the intervention. So that is how they can actually should do and must do.
Right, thank you so much. Neelam, you must have got your answer. What are your suggestions for children, of course, parents, counselors and teachers to help them stay motivated and positive when dealing with dyslexia? Arun Fernandez, we'll start first with you.
Yeah, first thing is let us look at these children like children like us has different learners, and not look at them as a disability or disease. It is more of a state of mind or the functionality process. And in the functionality, only the writing, reading might be a very big challenge, or maths might be a challenge. But otherwise, these children are absolutely fine, and they are capable or more than capable of doing like other children. So only that first thing is the mindset of parents saying that, okay, this is another problem. There's another we will boil down to a skill rather than not an ability. So let us not define this as a disability, and like our Indian government is also putting this under intellectual disability only, which I am like little against. Why? Because we are not intellectually incapable. It's only the skill is a problem. Is that reading, writing is the problem. That is what we can focus on. If managements, if big authorities like NCERT is looking at kids like that way, I feel if they change the lens on that way, I feel a lot of children will be having the open windows in their school, in their institutions and so on. And such kind of screening should also happen not in a regular medical setup, rather it can happen in their own schools, wherein a special educator can do a screening in the school itself, which that will avoid a lot of stigma, that will avoid a lot of parental denial, and more parents to come do the screening or more parents to come do the assessment will be possible. So all this from the top-down approach, if it is appearing, I feel next 5 years we will be, all the children will be identified which children have the difficulty, and we can name them as different learners and rather than difficult learners.
Arun sir, your motivational message can we have for the audience, please?
Yes, I would like to say this. I think so. Parent is the first important person in every child's life, because they are the mirrors. And if the mirror is showing them positive attitude, the children will be positive. If the mirror is saying that you cannot do, you cannot do, you cannot do, and when others are doing, you cannot do, I think so that will be the end to the child's future. In all our cases, the parents, like for instance, Kabir's parents have gone to that extent to send to UK. And his Gandhi's parent has made him sure that he will do. So it all begins with the parents. So the parents are the first person, and the second is the teacher. A teacher in a 40-member classroom, kids like us in a classroom, they might not be able to teach them much, but they can definitely give them a lot of confidence. They can definitely give them a lot of encouragement. So
Absolutely.
that a teacher can do. These two people are the important people in life to for nurturing any child. And if these two things are happening and the management is more proactive in the early stages, not wait till 8th standard and chuck the child out of the school. Rather than that, if the management is more proactive and celebrating these children in a very young age, like pulling them out in a very young age, that way I always say that in every school, in every community which we belong, where all the children are equally treated, given a lot of encouragement, and where there is no child is left behind.
Absolutely. So quickly of learning, which was so inspirational, which was so motivative and instructive as well. And of course, I would like to thanks all the panelists who have been the part of this great discussion. Thank you so much, all the panelists, each one of you.
Thank you so much, and I think so 20 years down the line we have come a long way, because me when I was diagnosed in a mental hospital 20 years before, they were telling this child is not going to do anything. Why is right. From that stage, now we have NCERTs identified us, and we are having a conversation and making this as a bigger awareness. I think so India is rocking, and we are actually doing a very good job on making more awareness, and such kind of initiatives will actually make the child's life who are having these kind of learning difficulties more easy. And thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.